Good evening, unks and OGs and aunties worldwide. This is Mr. P going live solo dolo by myself. First of all, I want to start by apologizing for my absence and for our absence. Unks and OGs have not been consistent, and we got to own that. We have not given you content in a while, and that is all of our fault. So we're going to try to do better. Hopefully we'll do better. You know, whether it's a solo dolo type thing or we get the other aunts and OGs on board and back in the rotation, we'll figure that out. But I just wanted to come on here real quick and talk to you guys because it was a good conversation that I think we're missing out on, that the aunts and OGs have some input to. So I'm going to represent for the other aunts and OGs who are not here today. If you've been paying attention, there's a interview that's been going around that includes Clifton Powell, one of the great actors. You've seen him in all types of shows. He was on all kinds, just black genre shows. Clifton Powell, you may not recognize his name, but he was Pinky in the Friday movie. He was in Minister Society. I don't have time to go around his resume, but if you see him, you'll recognize him. But he's been an actor for quite a while, and he sat down at a round table and had a discussion about loving black women, and it got a little heated. And so I'm gonna let you listen to the interview, and then I'm gonna give you my commentary on it. I think it's a good conversation for us to have, and it's not more so about the content of black women per se, but it's about men and the men's perspective that I'll kind of roll it all into when you get there again. Again, welcome, aunts and OGs around the world. Mr. P is here, solo dolo. Want to bring something for the aunts and OGs worldwide. And let's get to it. Let's listen to this commentary from Clifton Powell, and I'll be back with you.
Working to say, but you know, I was just talking about I'm 70 years old, so I come from a whole nother era than any of you Negroes is talking about. And what I've learned, and I'm not saying I'm right, I think everybody is right because there's so many levels to this. But most of this was laid on our parents. Yeah. My father was born in 1915, and his parents were slaves. Well, his grandparents were slaves. So what I've learned is it's not your mother's fault. It's not your father's fault. It's not your fault. We were born into 450 years of post-slavery PTSD. I am 69, I'll be 70 in March. I've just learned how to love. Our parents didn't know how to love. Their parents didn't know how to love. And if I could say anybody maybe had an edge, it was the women. That's why I celebrate black women. But in closing on this, because I don't want to get too deep, I called my buddy, man. I said, I'm fucking up, bro, really bad. I'm fucking up. So I never been monogamous. So I don't fucking know what
age did you become a monogamous?
Today. No, but let me just say what it is.
Good to know.
And we don't talk about this. We don't talk about dopamine being in a pleasant center of the brain like we talked about oxytocin is the hormone. It's called the cuddle hormone. So a lot of times we're just talking in generalities. And that's why I think what you said about counseling, because a counselor is going to get inside of this from a real, not even white people perspective, just from a scientific perspective, unless science is not wrong and the brain is not made what it is. So when I hurt my girl, which I've done over and over, and I commend her for even being with me, and I said it in my podcast, and I'm going to say this and stop. I called one of my partners who was brilliant. He said, when you hurt somebody, where you leave them is where they stay. So I think our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, the people that raised us, those men who treated the women outside the house nice, but then put the thumb on the grandmama and put the thumb on the girlfriend or whoever, they are all, it all comes from out of all of that. And I think that's what makes me excited that we're going to bring the women and the uncles and we need to bring them all in here. But go ahead. What are you going to say?
The one thing that I just want to talk about in Luke, make sure I say the name right, pop this part out.
Luke.
Okay. what Luke brought up was like accountability. Like, yes, we can talk about, you know, what our families did to us, all this, all that. But eventually, and I know why people try and say this, and I really don't like that, but eventually it comes a point where you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? I haven't talked to my daddy in 6 years. I don't give a fuck about what my family has gone through. I know where I will go. So it's like, you know, you can only say that for so long. Black women are tired, and, you know, kind of like putting onto them like, hey, like, you didn't do this entirely, because everybody in here, several people have talked about, like, you know, going to counseling. Have that upon yourself. Stop waiting for a woman to tell you what you need to do. Take that upon yourself.
Let me address that real quickly. For me, I didn't know fucking how to
Can I say one more thing? No, I have to say this, because another thing that happens is, too, you live your life for so long, and I'm not meaning no disrespect by
this.
this.
All right, just say it, bro.
But when you hit your 60s and your 70s, I want to be right.
Okay, but let me.
I want to live my life right. I want someone to take care of me and protect me, and that's what a lot of women have issues with.
I'm living it right the fuck now.
As I said, I said 60s and 70s.
Let me say this.
Don't overtalk me.
I'm gonna fucking overtalk you because you're talking out of line.
But you're not gonna disrespect me.
You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
I am.
I just love it.
I do.
You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Oh, I do.
You can't.
I do.
I do know it, nigga.
I do.
I'm good. You don't know what the fuck you talking fuck out of here. I'm living. You can't tell me what the fuck I'm living, nigga. I'm living it right now. You cannot fix no shit that you don't even know is happening.
I think there's a misunderstanding.
No, but he's generalized. You can't. Listen, bro. Let me stop. This is what it is. Let's get to the truth of this shit. You can't fix no shit unless you meet somebody who is on another level to help you elevate to understand. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm telling you what the shit is. You can't fix some shit that you don't know about, bro.
Yeah.
You can't. And then you get there at 69 or 70 and say, I thought I was being loved all this time. That's what our parents have gone through. And that's why we all so fucked up right now.
You asked, how do we love Black women?
Yeah.
That's right here. Trust Black women and listen to Black women, because they know more than we do what it is that they need.
I don't think that's true either.
As men,
there's a lot of Black women who don't know how to love.
I'm not talking about what they know how to love. I'm saying what they need.
All righty. All right. So that's the brother Clifton Powell speaking on his personal experiences and what his personal journey is. So one of the things that kicked off or triggered the exchange was him saying that he's 69 and 70 and he's just now figuring out how to love. And, you know, he gave some background of how, you know, he had done his woman wrong in the past, and I think he's been divorced before or whatever. And then so the young man came in, and I'm saying he's a young man because he's obviously younger. I don't think he's nowhere close to Clifton Powell's age. And he brings in the accountability question. And then it gets heated, and then Clifton Powell comes back, and he's basically saying, you know, you don't know what you're talking about, because I'm living it now, and I was unaware of what I was doing, or that I wasn't capable of giving love the way I thought I gave love before. And so I want to talk about two points of that outside of the argument. One point is, you know, for him to acknowledge that he's about to be 70 years old and he's still learning how to love, or just realizing and learning how to love his own word. So that's profound in itself, because we have always equated to age as having knowledge and wisdom. So that is a key indicator that age is not necessarily equate to wisdom or the knowledge or the understanding that we expect. And so for many of us, and I have personal experiences with myself, when we look to our elders, we expect them to have already gained the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding within themselves to make better decisions. And the reality is that is not always true. In some cases, there is. But in his case, in many cases that we know personally, there are people who are well up into their age, similar to Clifton Powell, who are stuck, as he mentioned also, they're still stuck at that age where they were, where that trauma triggered them, that developed them into those behaviors or those tendencies that perpetuate that trauma onto the next stage. for him, I'm still using him as an example. He, at some point in his life, he's already acknowledged that his parents never taught him or either displayed to him how to love, or what he can equate to taught him how to love. And so he's been stuck at that point, not knowing that he was unaware of that, because for whatever reason, he chose to ignore it, or no one ever really brought it to his attention in a way that he accepted it. But now he's acknowledging that all these time, and it's taken him to almost 70. And so I think that in itself triggered the younger man, because the younger generation does have tools and they have awareness of certain things that we didn't have. That I'm not in Clifton Powell's generation, but I'm the generation after. So he's the age of my mother and father. And so their mothers and fathers had no clue, or there was no time, money, or knowledge about getting therapy and stopping trauma and generational curses. These are new terms. These are new things that have happened in my lifetime. So it wasn't an option for them to go see a therapist, and they didn't have the healthcare of the system or the information to go get a therapist to deal with their own traumas. And in that aspect, they pass those traumas on to the next generation. And so there are still some of those people in that generation who are still carrying that trauma, and it's impacting their life and the people around them. So for me, I have some understanding of that. And so for me, I thought it was commendable for Clifton Powell to share that at his ripe old age of 69 and 70, and he's not the only one. There's a lot of people his age and older who are still dealing with those things and still learning, becoming more self-aware. So I commend that. At the same time, I thought the young man was triggered because, again, the argument wasn't about taking accountability. Obviously, for him to acknowledge it, he's taking some type of accountability, but I guess in the young man's eyes, he felt like Clifton Powell was putting the onus on the generations before him. And so, that's a judgment call. That's a judgment thing, and it's not our place to make those judgments. It's only our place to listen and observe. And so I think you can learn from Clifton Powell, from the example that he's making, or for the mistakes that he's made. And hopefully he can now speak to his peers or people younger than him who will use him as an example, saying, hey, I don't want to be Clifton Powell's age and just learning how to figure out how to love and give love. So, I get that from that part. And so I think it's important that we give grace to the generations before us. Again, it's not a reason, it's not an excuse, and it's not a way for us to avoid accountability or for them to avoid accountability. But if they're still here and they're still trying, I think it's on us, and it's better for us to then give grace than to try to get them to take accountability for themselves, or get them to admit that they were wrong. Because many of them, they're never going to do that. Many of them don't even know that, as he was stating. They don't know that they're unable to give love, or to give us tools, or to empathize, or to nurture the way that they think they were nurturing, or to their children or their offspring or the people around them. So ignorance is no excuse, but ignorance is obviously a real thing, and many people are ignorant to it. So if you have that mindset, you can give grace to your elders, your older aunts and uncles and mothers and fathers who are of that age, who are still incapable or unaware of their impact and the trauma that they are passing on to the next generation. So I get that. So I think that's important as a discussion to be had, and hopefully when the aunts and OGs come back, we can share some similar experiences that we have, because I definitely have some experience with that, and I can see it going in both directions. It's interesting that the younger generation you know, we try to call out or make them aware of the things that they're doing. And when they are trying to do the same thing with us, we automatically dismiss what they're saying in many cases because of the age thing. Again, we expect that with age comes wisdom, understanding, and self-awareness, and it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it takes us until we're 70, as Clifton Powell did, to understand where self-awareness really lies, and it has something have to be worked on constantly. So if you think you're a finished product just because you get to 60 or 70, no, there's still work to be done. And you know, it's hard for you to see outside of yourself without anybody projecting that mirror in front of you. So if someone says something to you, I think it's wise to listen at the minimum and see how they're experiencing you. You don't have to own everything that people say to you, and you got to consider the source as well. If there's someone who's important to you, you definitely want to listen and hope and understand that their intent is to better the relationship between you two. I'm not saying listen to your haters. I'm not saying listen to insignificant people. But if someone holds a mirror to your face, how they're experiencing you, it would be good on your part to at least listen and to reevaluate that or take it into consideration at the same time. Lest you be 70-year-old, still unaware, moving through the world, not understanding why no one is there for you. So, I mean, I commend Clifton Powell with this. I don't think he should be attacked. I don't think people should pile on, but they should use this as a reason to give people grace. Trust me, someone's giving you grace many times that you may not be unaware of. So give grace to people until they have some understanding. They may be unaware of their understanding. If you care enough about them, then you will be the one person, hey, let me hold this mirror to your face just for a second. And, you know, consider it. I'm doing it out of love. Don't do it out of anger. Again, the young man in the video, I think he's trying to attack Clifton Powell. And I think it's a generation thing that dynamic that could be working on that part as well. Because the young guy, you know, our generation was raised to, you know, defer to our elders, to let our elders speak. And he seems to be more on the attack side, trying to hold an elder accountable. And that's just, maybe it's a generation thing. We're just not raised that way or built that way. Again, I will acknowledge that with age does not necessarily mean wisdom, insight, or self-awareness. So again, as long as they are willing to be open to it and accept it, then, you know, it can be a helpful exchange versus something that's combative. Because that argument became combative and counterproductive at some point. But at the same time, I think there should be follow-up conversations about this. I know it's really tough for us, at least my generation, I'm speaking for myself, for us to speak to our parents about the impact that they've had on us. But among our peers, we definitely have those conversations, but we rarely have those conversations up for our parents. And so I don't know if our kids will one day have those conversations with us because they have more tools, more awareness and things like that, and the language to use than we had growing up. So that's my 2 cents on that. Hopefully when the Unks and OGs get back, we can dig some more into this and give some more insight into it. Appreciate you listening. Hopefully the Unks and, well, not hopefully, the Unks and OGs, whether it's me by myself or me with the compadres, Unks and OGs will be back each week, once, twice, 3 times if necessary. I've made a commitment to myself. If no one's available, I'm going to be available for the Unks and OGs. And let's get this thing rolling, get the momentum back up, and give you guys content to listen to. So that was just my 2 cents on that one. Hopefully, if you got any comments, you can drop it in the comments. You know, subscribe, share this video. Unks and OGs just trying to get our footing back together, and I appreciate you guys along the way. I appreciate those views and that support. Continue to support us and give me your feedback. I'm open to the feedback. maybe it's something that Unction OGs could be doing better, and we're not quite hitting that pocket where we need to. Let us know. Let me know. Drop a comment, and we'll do the best we can. We're not above. I'm not above getting better and getting feedback. So until then, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Whoever's listening, hopefully you can take a look at this commentary or this comment, this video, dig deep into it, and see if it can have a positive impact on you. But until then, next time, signing out, Mr. P for the Unction OG Worldwide.